Hello, everybody. Guess who is in the building? Emmanuel. I'm excited to be here. This is the last episode of season 1 of the Working Like I Talk It podcast. I am very sure that you've had exciting guests, listening to a lot of amazing people doing amazing stuff and building good stuff within Nigeria and beyond. Guess what? You're about to hear my story. Keep listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your colleagues.
All right, guys. Thank you, Faith, for coming on the podcast. Let me publicly apologize for the stress that we put you
Guys,
through.
it dragged me out very good. It's my fault. I'm still in the trenches. Oluwag Bamilowo trenches.
But yeah, thank you for coming on the podcast, right? So we're just going to dive right in, right? We're going to talk about you as a HR. But this episode, right, is titled Beyond More Than an HR.
Thank you, mighty fellow.
Yes, this episode is titled More Than an HR with Emmanuel Faith. And that's because, I remembered recently, I think it was yesterday or the day before yesterday, you posted that the moment people know what you do, the conversation changes.
Yeah.
Right? So we're just going to focus on, just take maybe the first 2-3 questions talking about you as a HR, and then we talk about you beyond the HR.
Yes.
I know you're a female football lover, and I'm sure there are other things you do that people don't know.
Yeah.
Everybody just knows you as the favorite,
HR
everybody's favorite HR birdie.
Yeah.
Right. So, so this is a journey that you've shared quite a number of times, and I'm sure people are not tired of listening to it. So please, your HR journey, how did that come about?
Very interesting. Yes. So yes, I've shared a lot of times, but yeah, I will not stop, talking about it. Someone asked me, I spoke at an event recently, facilitated by my friend, Joel Moses Babatunde. It was like 4 Saturdays with HR, and the first question was, oh, did HR find you? Or did you find HR? And I think that I'd responded saying we met halfway. So how it started was I studied economics, from Obafemi University. Great Ife, great. Everybody here, none of them went to AU, so they are beating me right now. Yeah, but so I studied economics. I studied economics at Obafemi University between 2014 and 2018. Now, that period, tech boom was not yet there. Tech was there, but there wasn't this boom and influx of funds and investment. So if you study a course like accounting or economics, if you study accounting, your destiny is tied to Big Four. You already know you're going straight to Big Four. If you study economics, you have to work with companies like AfriInvest, Meristem, and all those companies. Yes, so it was almost written down. By 200 level, you were already doing internships with all these big companies. By 300 level, people that were serious with their life, me, I was not serious with my life. So people that were serious with their life, they're already applying to like Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan. And so by 400 level, you already know what you want to do. Do you want to be an investment banker? Do you want to be an OTC trader? Just like people that sell shares, stock, and stuff. Because you've already done like 3-4 internships now. So me, in 200 level, I went to intern. I can't remember with the company anymore. But I remember 300 level, I interned with Meristem and AfriInvest. So when I came back, I'm like, finance is not for me. And that's that. I always love to emphasize that part when especially for the undergraduates or recent graduates that will listen to this, that sometimes you do not know what is for you, or sometimes you just know what is not for you. And that's also some sort of clarity. So I knew that finance was not for me, but I did not know what was for me. So in 400 level, I had a chat with one of my, yeah, I did a lot of things in uni, right? So I won a competition in 200 level. I beat people. Like it was an limiting round. I faced a 400 level student in the final. I beat the person. That's how I became popular in my department. So I connected with one of my senior colleagues who was like the chairman of the competition. So when she was graduating, now your favorite senior is graduating. So we had a chat and I was like, you know what, Funto, I do not want to do HR. Sorry, I do not want to do finance. What other things do you think I can do? What do you do? She was like, oh, I'm thinking of going into HR. So like, oh, what is HR? It's like, oh yeah, go and find out. That's your first assignment. Go and find out about HR. And I found out about HR, and that was literally how I started my journey into HR. After school, I didn't work in HR, interestingly. I worked in tax. But when I was researching, one of the courses I discovered that you could write to get into HR was CIPM. So I started writing CIPM. Then I worked with this woman. I think I don't talk about her enough, so I think I should. Yeah. Her name is Aramide Abe. She runs a community. I don't know if she still runs it. She ran a community called Ninja Startup. Then again, the startup was not this boom. There are a lot of guys I see now that I'm like, I knew you guys, For example, like I knew the founder of one of these companies, Max NG, yeah, Jumia, Konga. She had this amazing community of like budding startups community. And so I reached out to her, and said I wanted to volunteer with her. So I handled everything HR for Nigeria startups. So recruitment, talent acquisition, help them recruit talent, everything like that. So that's really how I ventured into HR. But I feel like my HR career grew when I joined GE for my NYSC. So remember, I was writing CIPM already. So I spoke with one senior colleague. His name is Lako Daunsi. I was working at General Electric. I was like, do you know what? NYSC is that time that, people sort of find out what they want to do,
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't want to keep doing tax. I was doing well in tax, by the way. I was badass. I was even writing exciting articles. Around that time, was it Sanwo-Olu? No, it wasn't Sanwo-Olu. What was before Sanwo-Olu? Ambode.
Ambody.
Yeah, I think Ambode had just, I don't know if it's Ambode or Fashola. It was Ambode had just introduced consumption tax. So I remember one of the articles that wrote on LinkedIn that blew up was about consumption tax and how it's repetitive for VAT and all that. So I was actually good in tax too. But again, you remember what I said. Sometimes you know what you don't want to do. So like I knew that even though I was good in tax is not for me. Yeah. So in my NYC period, I ventured in the HR, applied to G, got into G, and the rest they say is history. Yeah.
But that's an interesting story. Where did you start your HR journey from? What company?
Yeah, G. I can say G because like what I did were at Nigeria Startup was not official, even though like I was doing a lot of recruitment and stuff. But when people ask like, where did your G your HR career? So I would like to say G.
And then you moved to Rise. Of course, that's where you really blew up.
Yeah, yeah. And then I moved to Big About Media, and then now I'm waiting for Netflix to come. Well, at the time I'm recording this podcast because by the time it's published, someone else might have called me.
Yeah,
That's the Netflix.
definitely.
Yeah.
You did some amazing work. I think when people talk about HR in Nigeria, the first name that really pops into anybody, at least the top three names that pops into people's head is Emmanuel Faith, and I think that's really good.
You know what? I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna accept it. Yeah, so before, guys, I used to shy away from this, right?
Yeah.
But I think when I got nominated as one of the top 20 disruptive people to follow in Nigeria when it comes to HR, like it was a UK blog that ranked it. Like if you're in Nigeria, you want to follow people leaders in Nigeria doing disruptive things. We list 20 people, and Emmanuel Faith was one of them. For context, I was the youngest on that list, not just by age, but also by years of experience. Yeah, I just like, oh, do you know what? I'm going to own my shit. Yes, you cannot talk about Nigeria HR, especially in the tech and startup space, and not mention Emmanuel Faith.
Yeah. So before we get to know Emmanuel Faith outside of HR, the last question I want to ask is, what was your strategy like, or first of all, what was your day-to-day job like? Because the HR thing kind of feels like, is when it's time to hire, when it's time to pay salaries. So typically, what does a day-to-day life look like for Emmanuel Faith as the HR? And yeah, pretty much that.
No, so I'm going to answer. So you are trying to ask two questions.
Yeah.
So I'm going to help you out. So I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about like what was my strategy, like how.
Yes, that's what I forgot.
Yes, so I'm going to start with, so what does day-to-day HR look like? It really depends. So all my life I've been an HR generalist, and it's a challenge now that I'm looking for a job, that I cannot apply to specialist roles because my area of experiences have been generalist. But it's also an advantage because it means that like I can work in any niche role. So because I'm a generalist, it means that I handle end to end. So I do talent acquisition, I do compensation and benefits, I do performance management, I do employer branding, which is like my favorite part. Now I know that I've used a lot of like very difficult terminologies. Talent acquisition is literally looking for talent that fits into a certain purpose. So a startup, what is the next stage of your startup, and what are the kind of people that you need to get to the next stage? For example, if you are building a brand from the scratch and all your founding members are like maybe CEO, CTO, product manager, you do not have someone that is like a content storyteller. It's probably my job to hire a content storyteller that would find you, that would put your content out there. So now you've had a content storyteller, but you need a lot of visual products. Then it is my job to let you know that you need to hire like a video editor or someone that can create, visual storytelling that is captivating and let people know your product. That's really what talent acquisition is about. So it's beyond hiring and like, so it's really that strategy, that thinking ahead of time. What does the business need right now, and how do I get the people that the business needs to meet the business needs? Punchline. Yeah. what does the business need right now? And as an HR, how do I get the talents, that the business needs to meet the business needs? That's like my acquisition. I mean, performance management. I feel like everybody knows performance management. You know, performance management. Compensations and benefits. There's a lot that goes into payments in Nigeria. When people hear salary, when people hear compensation, and like I think we've had the chat before, like there's a lot to compensation beyond what you take home every
True.
month. And there's a way that you can design compensation to make it a lot attractive. You can have different kind of allowances. You can have, relocation allowance, gadget allowance, just a lot of fascinating things that would make people want to work in your company. And then there's employer branding, which is my strength, which is what I think blew me up. Yeah, so that's like, what my day-to-day looks like. So sometimes I'm settling issue between a team lead and his followers, and then another time I'm doing something really strategic, like how can I make people happy? How can I make people productive? How can I make people's life better? Those are like, what my day-to-day activities look like. So, what's my strategy for blowing? Very interesting. I think two things. One was consistency. Two was just saying, I want to do this differently. So you and I know that like 3, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, when you talk about HR was like Nigerian police. That's the
I
Nigerian
mean,
police is your friend.
really, some are still are.
Some are still are, right? So I remember when I was venturing into HR, I'm like, do you know what? If it's this HR thing, I'm going to do it the right way. I'm going to let people know that. Because think about it, 5 years ago, there was still great HR.
Yeah.
They were not just a lot. They were just people that like had negative PR, that would fire you because you came late, all just very mundane things. And even that's what informed my Twitter handle, your favorite HR body. So like I want you to think about HR and like I'm one of the first few names that come to your mind. One, I also want you to think about HR and not think wickedness. And think, someone that is concerned about your well-being, someone that has your best interest at heart. And that's really what I did at GE, even though like I didn't do a lot of that, and what I did at career-wise.
Yeah.
So I didn't do a lot at GE because my role was very, very junior. I mean, and then GE is a structured organization. For example, there are things that I didn't have permission to do. But still, there were things that I worked on at GE that I remember like 2 months after I left GE, one global director, like it's a global director. For context, it was my manager's manager's manager. Yeah, so my manager, then our own manager. So he reached out to me. I was like, so I think I'd announced like, that I joined Carrywise or something, maybe my 100 days at Carrywise. I can't remember. I think it was 60 days. I just sent me a DM. I said, Emmanuel Faith, when did you leave us? I'm like, I did not leave you people. It's you people that don't give me. So what had happened at GE, I don't think I've talked about it explicitly before, was that. So I was in a contract role. I had finished NYSC and they gave me a contract extension. So they were supposed to open a full-time role for me, but there was COVID. And so because there was COVID, there were like hiring restrictions across some businesses. And the business I was working with was one of those businesses. That's why I could not get a full-time role. So it wasn't like everybody, like they tried for me. So when they reached out to me, it was like, I've heard your name a lot of times. People speak so highly of you. This was the global director that sat in the US saying I had my name. So like I tried to do a lot of amazing stuff at GE that I might not be able to talk explicitly because of confidentiality. But like Carrywise, it was exciting because the thing about Carrywise is that one is a startup in the tech ecosystem, and a huge part of startup growth is storytelling. And that's like one thing I leveraged, right, at Carrywise. So as I did the go things, I also told story about the go things. And I also enabled and empowered people to tell story about the go things that we were doing. So yeah.
That's really interesting. Of course, you deserve all the accolades that you are getting.
Yeah.
Right. So now let's move to Emmanuel Faith, who is more than just the HR.
Okay.
So what are your hobbies? What do you do for fun?
I watch K-drama.
Yes, Emmanuel Faith is a big K-drama fan. I don't know any guy that watches K-drama as much as he does.
Yeah, so what do I do for fun? I write. Oh my, I cannot even confidently say that anymore. Guys, I'm going through mid-adulting crisis. But yeah, I write. I feel like I like writing. I read. Yes, I read. There's a book. If I bought a book with me here. I'm presently reading Leslie Inekamare's What It Means When, what's the title again? What It Means When Man Fall From the Sky, something like that. That is a collection of story, and that's the title of the title is the story I do not like. I like other stories. After that, I'm reading Cheta Bhagat next. So yes, I read, I watch K-drama, I already said that. I also watch a lot of female football. I am very passionate about female football. Yeah, so those are my hobbies.
And how I know you started writing for different sport magazines.
Yes, I write for Impetus blog in UK and Australia, and I currently write for Kings Miado magazine. That's like Chelsea Women's Club primary magazine. So if you think Chelsea Women's Club in UK and you think the first magazine you think about is Kings Miado, and I write for them.
So we're going to touch all these things, right? The
One
female
by one.
football lover, the writer, and the K-drama lover.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
let's start. Let's start with female football lover.
Okay.
Right? What drew you to female football?
So very interesting. I did a very short thread recently that, when I introduced, so now I introduced myself, I'm like, oh, my name is Emmanuel, XYZ. Interesting fact about me, I watch K-drama a lot, and, I watch female football. And it's exciting because it's a conversation starter, and if you know me, I'm a social butterfly, even though I rather sit at home and watch K-drama. But yeah, I like the social butterfly part of it. So what drew me to female football? I wanted to say as a social Agbabola. So I'm very passionate about SDG5. I'm a feminist. I am going to say it everywhere. And I think that, yes, I'm a feminist. Tweet it, quote it, repeat it. I think that women rights, I think that women are underprivileged. They are cheated. And when I mean underprivileged, I am not talking finances now, even though there is finance. There's one article that I wrote in 2021 that got me an interview with BBC. And it was about gender wage parity. How people just get paid less because they are women. It's crazy. I don't want to go into that. But yeah, so like I'm passionate about anything women, and I love football generally. I love football, so that's really what drew me.
We're both
about.
Chelsea fans.
Yeah,
Even though our men team,
I'll go to Christ.
at least we won last night, so
That's something to celebrate. Yeah, so because I'm passionate about things women related and I love football, so combine that passion with my love for football, that gives me passion for women football. Now, why am I very invested in female football? We are fighting for a lot of things. We are fighting for equality, equity, but we cannot ask, practical illustration, the most expensive female football right now worth 900,000 pounds. That's not up to 1 million pounds. And like Kylian Mbappe is any how much? 200 million pounds. So you think about the most expensive female football, that's how
that's in terms of
earnings.
okay,
Yeah,
earnings,
market worth. So like right now, no female footballer worth 1 million pounds
in salaries or in what?
in
Like
salaries.
okay,
No female footballer is earning 1 million pounds. And like there are men like earning like 200 million, 100 million, 60 million, and stuff like that. Now, can I say that a woman should earn like maybe 30 million pounds? Yes. But are there enough resources? Are there enough visibility? Are there enough effort put into that would make a market value of a woman football, a female footballer rise up to that right now? No. What do we need to do to rise? Sorry, I saw economics. This economics part of making. What do we need to do? We need to create a demand.
yeah.
To create a demand of something, you create awareness about it. You let people know that they are missing out if they are not watching this thing. And that's really why I'm invested in female football. That's why I'm telling the stories. That's why I'm writing about it. And you could see it, the last FIFA World Cup.
Yeah, I personally sat down to watch some of these games and I was like, these women are balling.
Sold out.
These women are balling.
16 years ago, 3,000 people were watching this thing. Last year, 60-something thousand people were watching. The largest match in Spain last season was between Real Madrid women and Barcelona women, not Real Madrid. So more people watched Real Madrid women versus Barcelona women.
Yeah, literally, I think there was an El Clasico recently, and I said,
oh, where
someone tweeted, like, what's going on? We had literally no idea. I remember growing up, El Clasicos, it was a big deal. It was a big deal.
Lucigo days, Ronaldinho days, and then the Ronaldo Messi rivalry. But like now, women are taking over. 93,365 people watched the last Women El Clasico.
And that's just in the stadium.
That's just in the stadium. Very good context because there are some of us that we stream from Egbeda. We watch from that. So that's really why I'm invested. I'm looking forward to the day where we would sign a women footballer for 5 million pounds, 10 million pounds, where they will say, oh, a competition is coming up, Oh yeah, Austin, let's go and watch the women at Stamford Bridge, Let's go and watch the women at Wembley Stadium.
Yeah.
And Wembley Stadium is actually sold out. Yeah, so that's why.
Well, in terms of pay, I know that there are arguments that the women earn more in terms of percentages, in terms of what is being brought in and what is being given out. So I think I can't remember which of the analysts said that, but he said, if the men's World Cup, I can't remember the exact figure, so I'm just giving an illustration. If the men's World Cup break in, say, $100 million, right? The payout is probably around $20 million to the male footballers. But if the women footballers get, say, 20 million, they get, say, 16 million payout. So in terms of percentages, they actually earn more than the male footballers will.
So that's a fact, and it is valid, at least until this last edition.
Okay.
Because the last edition generated more revenue than what FIFA had budgeted, like what FIFA had forecasted.
Yeah.
So let's say FIFA forecasted that, if you make 100 million from this thing, it's a success. They had made 100 million as at the end of group stage matches. That's one. But that fact also now backs up what I'm saying, that if we create more awareness
Yeah.
and more demand for the sport. I mean, now players, Nike is signing female players. Adidas is signing female players. 10, 20 years ago, Nike was not signing female players. Adidas was not signing female players. Right now, there is a
Well, at least not in sports.
not
in football.
in
Not
football, not
Not
in
sports,
football.
yeah, not in football.
I mean, then Serena Williams
Yeah,
and other.
definitely.
But like in female football, I mean, think 20 years ago, the only person I remember was Mata.
True.
Mata is that only female footballer. Mention a footballer that was playing 12 years ago, you probably
Nah.
no.
Still be mad.
But like now, if they say mention a footballer playing 2 years ago, like you can mention a lot. Alexia Putellas, Ada Egebeg, you know Bethany England, Sam Kerr. So, and like kids that are watching, I'm in Impetus, there are kids that are like 17, 18, writing for the blog. And I'm just thinking, by the time these guys are 29, they have their experience and like the game is bigger. So the more awareness, the more investments, the more women are able to earn. So
What would you say is your most memorable match in female football?
Super Falcons versus Sweden, 2015.
What made that game memorable?
Sweden was number
Wow,
4.
2015. That means you've been following women's sport
For a
for quite a
decade.
very wow.
Yeah, but like I just became, you can be a fan, supporter. Like I became a stakeholder. Yeah. So I became a participant. Yeah.
Okay.
So I became an active participant like 2 years ago, like a year, 2 years ago. Yeah, but like I've been following the game for a while. Yeah. So 2015, I was in 200 level. I can never forget. The match was in the morning. Sweden was number 4 in the world. Nigeria was number 50 something. So what 2 things made that match exciting? Nigeria had just won the WAFCON the year before.
Okay.
Asisa Oshoala moved from under 20 straight to Super Falcons. Okpara Nozie, who is now retired. Yeah, Okpara Nozie, yeah. Okpara Nozie had, was the top highest goal scorer in WAFCON. And then Odega also just came from, I think she also just came from under 20 or something. So it was really fresh. It was a mixture of a fresh squad with some old guys, the Perpetual Culture, Rita Chikwelu, and all these guys. So we were like, we were in the group with Sweden, USA, and North Korea or South Korea, I can't remember. But I remember Sweden and USA very well. So we were like, Sweden is going to beat us 5-0, and stuff. And like the match started, of course, they scored the first goal, they scored the second goal, and then like we scored 1 before the end of first half. And I remember I was telling someone in the that if Nigeria scores 1 before the end of first half, that we would draw the match. So when we scored 1, I'm like, Nigeria is going to draw this match. Nigeria is going to draw. I mean, nobody was playing that Nigeria will win. You're playing Sweden. You're playing.
Yeah.
We probably had. It was only Asisa Oshoala was in Liverpool then. I think we only had like 2 players in Europe. So you know how
Local the team was.
Yeah, and then we're playing Sweden. They have players in Barcelona, in Italy, in England, and all these clubs. So second half, they scored 3-1. I'm like, and then we scored 3-2. Like, yeah, we can do this. And then we scored 8-3. We didn't even make it out of the group because USA beat us 2-1. And then the next country beat us 1-0. But the fact that we played 3-3 with Sweden was,
was something to remember.
So I think that I will not forget that game. The next best game is, of course, Chelsea Leon last season. that Chelsea beat Leon first leg and they beat us second leg and we got this 119 minutes penalty. But I think that, I would remember that Super Falcons versus Sweden more than, Chelsea versus Leon.
And then you started writing for Impetus and a few other magazines. So how did those come about? How did you start writing for these magazines?
So very interesting. I started tweeting actively about female football last year and stuff. So I remember that I wrote a long thread, an opinion piece about, and I think I tagged like all these major outlets, BBC, The Guardian, Please, if you know someone that works with BBC, The Guardian, I'm looking for to write with them. You should invite me. I can write very well. Yes, I tagged all these guys. So I think a reporter retweeted it. So it got to like Impetus timeline. So when someone else like your post, so Impetus I like my post.
Yeah.
So I just checked like who are they and what do they do. So like I just went through their timeline. And then I went to their website and I saw that they had an African column. So they have a Ghanaian sports writer. But the African column was not updated. So like the stories that were there were like still news and stuff. And I just sent them a DM that, hey, I said that you guys have this platform. Are you guys looking for writers? Yes. So they had made a call for writers maybe like 2 or 3 months before. Because I just strolled down to their old post. So like, oh, I saw that you guys made a call for writers a while ago. Well, I know in case you guys are not recruiting, I am an African, I see that you guys don't have a lot of African content on your blog. I am, I can't write, I can't
Yeah.
cover African football. And the first series I actually did for them, if you Google my name, Emmanuel, I put in Petos. The first set of articles you'll see were like WAFCON. So I covered WAFCON last year, like end to end, all the matches and stuff. So I wrote opinion pieces, wrote analysis, and that's how it started. And so when you do things like that, it's really just trend. Other people starting. That's how I got to King's Meadow. I think I'd written an article. I can't remember if it was Sam K or Go Writing. So I think I wrote an article, yes, from Sam K. No, Kings Miado actually reached out to Impetus to say we need someone to write an analytical, which is also like level. And again, no shade to Nigerian analysts. They are probably just 3 or 4 Nigerian sports writers that I listen to or I read their stuff. Every other guys, I'm just like, what are you writing? Like I read articles on Sport, on Pulse, or Tribune. I'm like, but like we are not, yeah, you're writing for an average audience, but some of us are not average.
Yeah.
Some of us actually want quality. Yeah, so shout out to you guys. You guys should improve on your quality of work. Yeah, so like they wanted someone to actually write like a detailed analytical article about Chelsea women. And so the editor in chief just reached out to me because even though a lot of people cover Chelsea and cover WSL is Women's Super League. It's like the male edition of EPL. Yes. So I was one of the very few people that can write a deep dive analytical
And it
article.
was your club, so
It was my club. I love my club. Yeah, so that was my first article. So, like it was one of the most read articles on King's Meadow. So every time they have to publish, they reach out to me now to say, I'll publish you. That's it.
do you think you would take a career in sports journalism?
So I was randomly gisting with someone on Sunday who told me that HR is my calling. That when I finish making money from capitalism, that I think that I need money. I need money to live. Yeah, but if trust me, if I marry a trust fund babe today, I probably so I like HR. I actually do love HR beyond the money.
Yeah.
I think I love HR. Like I love the people management part of HR. I love succession planning. I like high level strategy. Yes, so I think I love HR. But will I go to sport journalism? Yes, yes. I think I would. Maybe 5, 10 years time. I would. I mean, like life is a long journey, right? Yeah. So I think that at some point I would.
And what are some challenges that you faced in sport journalism?
So that's a very interesting question. So I think that I have not because it's an hobby. I have not applied myself enough
Okay.
to it. So yes, I write for Impetus. Yes, I write for Kings Meadow. But I want to write for The Guardian. I want to write for The Athletic. I want to write for which other one? So I read The Athletic and The Guardian a lot. I want to write for Players Tribune. So, but I do not think that I have applied myself enough to be able to apply to those places to write. There are some of my articles that are worthless. That if I was like, I can say, oh, go and read this article. I think there's one article I wrote last year, the case for the babyface assassin. It was about Google writing and how
Okay.
people.
When I heard Babyface Assassin, what came to my mind was Soldier. So that was his nickname.
Interesting. So
Ole Gunnar Soldier.
yeah.
That was his
So
nickname.
so Go rating as Ole Gunnar Soldier kind of face.
Oh, okay.
Very babied, very piercing. So like I wrote about how major blogs are like omitting her and why she needs to be included in, and it was one of the most read articles that month. So I can actually write like deep dive article, but I have not applied myself enough to apply to those kind of places because it's a lot of effort and a lot of deliberation. But if I see someone that will connect me, I don't mind though. I know that like I have what it takes to write for those guys. I have not just like chased the opportunities.
You should watch the episode with Amaka Itudo when it comes out.
Okay.
Because she's a writer, she has written for, although she's a health writer, but she
Okay.
has written for WebMD, Forbes Health.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
globally, yeah.
yeah.
So I think she will be one person. I can connect you guys. I think she'll be one person that might be able to give you like some insight on how you can get
Those people to
some
get
of
your
these people up.
attention.
Somebody in her network might actually have a reach.
That would be exactly.
So are there any particular footballers who inspire you
Hmm.
or influence your writing?
Footballers that influence my writing. So interesting, Vivian Miedema. People look at Vivian Miedema as like a footballer, but she's also an amazing analyst, and she writes very coherently. She covered like a lot of. She wrote a couple. She has a blog. I think she has a blog. No, it's not writing. She has a blog. She writes in Dutch and English, by the way. So if you understand Dutch, if not, you have to read English. So yeah, I like how Vivian Miedema writes. She's very opinionated. I read a lot of The Athletic.
Yeah.
Yes, so I read a lot of The Athletic. So, but like generally writing, I cannot say a certain writer informs me. But I know that like reading The Athletic have shaped how I write because those guys are very, very analytical. They talk about expected goals, goal per game, goal per average per game. Like it's just fascinating to see how deep first how much data is available now. For example, one of my favorite pages to follow is Opta Sports.
Okay.
Opta Sports everything. Like there are a lot of facts I know that is thanks to Opta Sports, and like that sort of also enhances the quality of my output when it comes to writing. So yeah, I follow the athletic writers and Opta Sports. Footballers that inspire me generally, Martha obviously for the legacy that she has laid in female football. I think that is really fascinating. Like she has done something really amazing
I don't think you can talk about female football and not talk about
without a
matter.
matter. I
Yeah.
mean, but to put it in context, like she won Female Footballer of the Year like 5 times in 1 decade, and then left the stage for all the young guys to come in, the Alex Morgan, the Megan who are now old by the way, but then they were young, Alex Morgan, Megan Rapinoe, Adai Debeg, all of them, and like she came back to win the award again. It's like she left the stage for like a decade, and like she came back. That's some massive, massive. It's like Ronaldo coming back, not Cristiano Ronaldo by the way. Ronaldo
Yeah,
Nazario,
Denmark.
like yeah, no, then me coming back to win Ballon d'Or in the middle of Ronaldo and Messi. And that's some shitload of work. Yeah, so matter. Asisa Oshoala. Asisa has done a lot for Africa. People do not know. A lot of Africa now play comfortably in Europe just because of Asisa. Like Asisa was, in case you do not know, the first BBC Player of the Year was Asisa Oshoala. Like the inaugural award this year, bam.
Yeah.
The first person to win it was Asisa Oshoala in 2015. She was 21 or 22. Imagine 22. And then, there was the Cathy Chapman, like solid guys played in the WSL. Yeah, Liverpool won the league that season, and she was, I think, second top scorer. But like she was competing with serious guys. And like she won it. She has done a lot in terms of visibility directly or indirectly. I mean, she went to a club, played around, went to China, came back to Spain. She played with the best of the best in Spain. Like to play with them, Emoso, Maria, Mapillion, like very solid strikers. And so there was a year that she was their top scorer.
Yeah.
It's no easy feat. What she has done, I was writing a sports opinion article like recently, and I saw that like there's a club in Spain that three Nigerians play for.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a club, there's also a club in France that three Nigerians play for, Stage the Reigns, Rafia Timura, Gift Monday, and Blessed Domain. Like people like Oshoala, just the way it's what Oshoala did to African players in Europe is what Katlana did to African players in the US. Like she literally opened the door, for European players to start noticing African footballers. So yeah, I really respect that.
Yep. Where do you see female football going in the next 5 to 10 years?
Hmm. I think that in the next 5 to 10 years, we will not have people say, "Why are you forcing women football down our throat?" Because there are people that still say that, which is like this 2023, and I think that comment is derogatory. But yeah, I think that we would be working in 5 years. We would be able to say, first, Ballon d'Or will not be clashing with International Women's Break because people will not show up for it if it clashes, right? People will have vested interest in watching female football. We would look forward to UWCL final, the way we look forward to UEFA Champions League final, World Cup. Of course, I'm really looking forward to World Cup 27. I think that it would be really massive. More visibility, more pay, obviously, more also accessibility. Now there were a lot of football rights, broadcast rights, dilemma for the last World Cup. A lot of people we are glad that we finally signed up. A lot of people did not want to broadcast it because of the time zone.
Yeah.
It was Australia and New Zealand, right? So we will not have all those issues because people will now see that it is very important that people see that women football is viable and scalable. And I think that by then evidence will be.
True.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
I think the last World Cup was clearly a huge pointer to the fact that look, these women are balling. And oh my god, I remember this ad, I think for the French national team, that they used the male team and then they said, oh, this is, and then showed that it was actually the female football
Les
team.
Blues.
It was amazing.
That was an
It
amazing
was an
storytelling.
amazing
Yeah.
ad. And
Yeah.
anybody who, in fact, that was the first thing I saw, and I said, oh, okay, okay,
There was
I might
Mbappe.
actually watch this World Cup.
Yeah.
I might actually watch this World Cup because I watch female football. Well, I haven't sat down to watch like prior to that World Cup. I had not sat down to watch like a female football match 90 minutes. I do just follow online, mostly Chelsea women, right? I just follow online and oh yeah, we're doing great work there. But when I saw that ad, I said okay, okay, and then through the World Cup, that's when I started properly getting
Watching.
invested
Yeah.
in the
So
sport,
that's
and I'm
amazing.
like, nah, these
This
women
is
are
solid.
ballers.
No, I mean like
This is
Jerry
really
Love, Jerry Love.
so I know you support SDG 5, which
Yeah.
is gender equality.
Mhm.
And you said it, you're not sorry about it. You're a feminist. Um, what does being a feminist mean? Because there are a lot of misconceptions out there about what feminism is. I know a lot of girls who what they practice, I don't think is femininity. I think is stupidity. No offense to anybody, right? So, what to you? What is feminism, and what are you fighting for?
Very interesting question. I just remembered, I think it was Destiny's tweets that talked about like feminism is the woman concept, and like every other woman concept, like it would be flawed. Feminism is simple. You're fighting for women's access to equal rights and opportunities. That is simply what it means. It means that you do not want to hear things like women cannot do this, women do not have access to this. By the way, you should know that football was banned in England for women until 1971. In fact, there's
No,
a
I
blog
actually didn't
called
know that.
there's a football blog called Since 71, and it was because women football was banned officially. So you could not play women football officially in England. So that's something one. Earlier when I was talking about HR, I was talking about gender wage parity. If you watch Partners Track on Netflix, I don't know why Netflix decided not to did not give us season 2. You would see how much there is wage gap. How much, in fact, per the article I wrote last year, International Women's Day, it takes a black woman, 271 days extra to earn what a white male is earning. So what a white male, you know that like in USD is per annum. So if a white male earns 200k USD per annum, it takes a black woman 271 days extra to earn 200k USD per annum just because she's a woman, right?
And she's black.
And she's black. If you narrow down to Nigeria, there are a lot of things. I mean, shout out to Chimamanda. She inspires me a lot. There are a lot of cultures that women cannot do this. Like, it's the mundane things. Women cannot champion her father's burial ceremony. Women cannot walk her daughter to church, for church marriage. Women cannot walk her daughter down the aisle. Like, very ridiculous things. Like, but these things exist.
Well, aren't those just culture?
Yes, they are culture, but they're also biased. They stem from the fact that someone has said women are secondary.
Okay, true.
Man should do this. I was asking a couple of my friends yesterday that, would you change your surname or will you hyphenate it? Why should women be the one to change your surname?
Well, I'm not even going to lie. I think it's a very stressful process, especially when you want to like change your international passports. You want to, I think, change women having to change their names when they are getting married is quite a
And I was telling
stressful
them
process.
I was telling them that if I date a popular, like someone that is very popular, someone that's already like
Yeah.
built name for herself, like before I met her and stuff, I'm not going to ask her. Like, I'm not even going to bring it up as a discussion. If she likes, if she wants to, but like, I'm never going to raise it. So like, it's literally just fighting for, and like you see it on Twitter, you also see how people just condition women to objects or to options or to secondary options. Like, it's as mundane as a carpenter walking in or a welder to say, oh, I want to speak to your husband. Oh, I just wrote a Medium post, by the way, how to find a house in Lagos. And like, it's ridiculous what women go through. As an HR, when I was at Carrywise, I was managing a lot of talents and everything. I cannot count the number of times that I had to guarantee it to landlord because the landlord will not give a single lady in Lagos
A house.
apartments
Yes,
because she's a lady.
I've heard about that.
And then like I have to call her that, hey, I'm the HR of this person. She works in this company. This is her earning. We have this policy in this company where we actually pay, for our talents rent. So don't worry. She's just going to owe you rent because the company is the one paying our rent. Like more than 3 times. I'm not even joking. There was one that I had to write a letter on letterhead. I see you don't even know about this one. I literally wrote a letter on a letterhead for my staff to give a landlord to say, oh, you work with Carrywise. Oh, Carrywise has this policy, relocation and stamp policy that pays your house rent. So you will not owe house rent because the company is paying. You will not try that with the guy. Yeah, so that's it.
But no, but not related to the females now. But I remember three of my friends, they wanted to get a house together. Three guys. They're both tech bros, really. And the landlord asked, three of you want to stay in this house? They said yes. What do you do? They said, well, we code. The man said, computer. Three of you. He said, he said this was where they knew that they were not getting this house. He now said, will you be going to the office or you'll be at home?
I said no.
He said, we'll be at home. He said, no, I'm sorry, you can't.
I don't want you people. Yeah, so
No, I don't want you people in my house.
It's just all this general bias, all this cultural bias. Was it when Kamala Harris became vice president?
Yeah.
Someone tweeted that it is very ridiculous that we are celebrating a first female vice president in the most powerful nation in the world. I mean, just think about it, that this is the first time we're having a female vice president. Like, it's ridiculous. I think the latest, I don't know if it's latest president or latest head of something of Harvard is a woman. For the first time in 400 years. Like, I was chatting with Destiny, I'm like, first, this is so good that you now finally have a female in this position, but it's also very ridiculous that in the 400 years of Harvard, they've always had like a guy, in this position. So it's literally fighting for women's equal access to opportunities and to rewards in society. That's really
No, sometimes I think so. In fighting for access for women, do you think that they now create some bias against the men now? So think of a company that comes up and say, okay, for this hiring round, we're hiring only women. Doesn't that now create a bias for the men?
Very brilliant question. I was hoping that question would come. So there was a time that they dragged, I don't know if it was Kuda or
I think it was Kuda.
Yeah,
was
right?
it Kuda? Yeah, I think, I'm not sure. Let me just
I
say that.
Yeah. I know it was K.
Yeah, it was something K.
I know it was Kuda or Kudi, and they're like, why are you doing a women only something? So this is the thing. Someone was trying to explain, I can't remember, I think it was an SDG program, either a UNESCO program. I know Serena Williams was on the panel. No, it was an SHRM program. SHRM, Society for Human Resources, is a global body for human resources. And someone was trying to explain the difference between equality and equity, right? It's really giving access, like, so two people are standing. If I'm taller than you,
Yeah.
right, and I give you a sitting box to stand on, that is me giving you access so that both of us would be able to like reach. It means that some people are already excluded. I mean, when I was at Carrywise, one of the most amazing campaigns that we worked on, shout out to Ferma Detomobi, wherever she is, shout out to Alma Sinobi, shout out to Oyin Akindele too. Design fund for women. We wanted to train women in design. Why? Because every time we call for designer, if 100 people apply, there are only 5 women. Like, it's not, this is data, like at BHR, I mean, the reports, 100 people apply, 5 will be women. So if a company is coming to say, hey, I want to take, for this particular recruiting range, I want to take just female designer. Trust me, it means there are other 95 males that will get jobs somewhere else.
True.
Because there is already a disproportion. I remember before the podcast, I said I was on the BBC panel.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was hosted by Zainab Badawi. I was on the panel I was not on the panel. Well, I was on the panel, but I was a co-questionnaire with Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and Katie Robinson of Ireland, right? And we were talking about like provision for women in politics. And they were talking about how, so I think Ellen Johnson Sirleaf had introduced a portion, the way we have House of Assembly, so there are like maybe 2 slots for women. So like no matter the voting and everything, these 2 slots is for women. Why? Because if there are like 100 slots,
Yeah.
98 will already be occupied by men. So even if you give 2 slots for women, that means that the other 96 will still be occupied by men. So giving 2 slots for women is no bias because there's already a huge disproportion,
Yeah.
right? The problem would be if you open it up to everybody, hire women, not based on competence or based on sex, then that's bias. But like creating certain opportunities
Opportunities for women alone.
for women alone is not bias because there is already a disproportion. There's a huge gap, and that's why I cannot fault anything women empowerment. People are saying it's too much, is this, we are coming from a very long way. Like,
True.
and it would take a while before we even like reach equilibrium. So
And so, if what would you? How would you address people that turn feminism upside down?
Now their own well. Yes, so I see ridiculous things actually. I see that we've now reduced, to who is cooking at home, who is not cooking at home. Every time I see those arguments, I remember one of my Twitter mutuals tweeted that you would know that Nigeria have a lot of problems because they're always tweeting about food, bills, and restaurants. And it just shows what are basic problems. It shows that like as a country, we are still dealing with basic problems.
Yeah.
And we cannot start talking about impact, about strategy, about global influence. If I just told you, I just narrated like what I'm thinking about female football. If I'm thinking about food and who would buy food for me and who is in the kitchen, I would not be thinking that far, about female football. I just think that we need to move away from that. To like deal with real time issues like, people not getting rights, people not having right to vote, people not having rights to. Do you know there are some tribes in Igbo that, like, as a woman, you cannot sell your father's land? Your
Yeah.
father died, you cannot sell the land. Like, you have to wait for an uncle. In fact, if a family, another family wants to go and buy the land, they will not buy from you. Like, they have to wait for an uncle to be the representative. It's ridiculous.
I think recently I was in Iwo, and some man came and was like, oh, was talking to a man, and then the man's wife said no, and then the guy goes, who are you to answer for him?
Oh,
And I'm like, that's his wife.
They mix together. What do you mean?
What do you mean? Yes, she can answer for him. So I could in that instance I was like, no, this is wrong.
Yes.
In that context, I was like, this is wrong.
Yeah, so ultimately, when people try to puncture the idea, or the reality of feminism, I just say that I just remember what Destiny tweeted that, like every other thing designed by women, everything has flaws. Yeah, so that's it.
All right. So we've seen Emmanuel Faith, the female football lover, Emmanuel Faith, the feminist. Right, let's talk about Emmanuel Faith, the K-drama lover.
Yeah, I ask you.
How did you start watching K-drama?
Oh, very interesting question. So I have this great idea in my head where I have a lot of ideas in my head. God, I need to make money. So there are these ideas. So I will not be thinking about making money ideas. So I have this idea in my head of writing a creative nonfiction titled Songs and Movies. So like the idea is I'm gonna write. So I'm gonna play songs or movies that are milestone. There are some songs that make you miss your ex. Yeah, there are songs that make you remember that you wrote this exam 3 times. That kind of thing. Yeah. So I started with City Hunter, and City Hunter is very pivotal to my life because I watched
City Hunter was a very good one.
Yeah, I watched it after my second jump. So I'd say the result of my post jam, I think I scored 74, and my way of celebrating was
out of 400.
No, of 100.
Okay.
No. Yeah, that's true. Our UTME I scored 274. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, OA UTME was over 400. Huh? Do you remember that? You applied to it?
No. Jam normally I think is over 400.
Yeah, no. I passed jam, so I went
then
right
post
jam.
UTME.
Yeah, so when you was told you over 400, I think I scored 274. So my way of celebrating was watching City Hunter, and that was like what got me hooked. I think that like no matter where I'm ranking Korean movies, no matter how many Korean movies I watch, every time I have to rank a top 5, City Hunter was somewhere.
Yeah, you will still rank your top 5 later on. Like, yeah, I do agree. City Hunter, I think, the ones that I watch and I can remember that I would say, if I was to give my top 3, would be City Hunter, Alchemy of Souls, and Iris.
I was going to say Iris. Yeah, Iris.
But
Iris.
I watched Iris when they had just done only season 1. I don't know if they ever continued it to have more seasons.
Yeah, so they could not continue with the series. You know how it is with casts.
Yeah.
So a lot of casts are departed. Yeah, so they just did like a single movie within that didn't capture the essence.
Well, no, but Iris was one movie that
Yeah.
that I really loved.
Yeah.
Would you consider writing your own K-drama one day?
No, but I would love to write. I'm speaking with, so there's shout out to Ineka. So there's a babe on Twitter. My name is Ineka.
Yeah.
She does a lot of work with Korean guys now. She's a self-taught Korean instructor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So she has a YouTube channel, and then like she teaches people how to speak Korean. So I was telling her recently, that's right, I need to go and follow up with that discussion. But like I want to write on how Korean drama has influenced culture in Nigeria. So Korean influenced
K-pop
our
as well.
dressing. Yes, K-pop, Blackpink, all those guys. Dressing, aesthetics. Women actually set up their rooms to look like, K-drama setting, right? Language, culture, interaction, romance. Yeah. So yeah, I think I would do something. I was teasing Ineka that when I'm done learning French, I will learn Korean next year. So I do not think I will write a K-drama, but I think that like I would do something. Maybe global relations, some international engagement with the Korean community.
Would you say K-drama has more influence over Japanese anime?
So I do not like to say that, and that's why you would never hear me talking down on like any people, right? I think that different class of people watch different class of things.
Yeah.
So I met a very very amazing smart um Gen Z recently. Her name is Shalom. Yeah, her name is Shalom. So she was like, "Oh, I'm currently watching an anime." I'm like, "Oh yeah, you look like someone that would." I said, "What do you mean you look like someone?" I'm like, "Oh, like when I saw you were wearing this, and this." So I knew that you probably watch, anime. Yes, so I do not think that one has influence over the other, because I feel like if you are talking to like an anime fan right now, he would also be talking like passionately about the jujatsu and all those things with the same passion. Jiu-jitsu, I mean, yeah, with all those passion that I'm using to talk about. Okay, so I just think that like if everyone and like it's really exciting because it's just the way we've exported Afrobeats. It's just the way like you go to bars. Like I remember when I went to Ghana. Honestly, I didn't know if I was in a Ghanaian bar or a Nigerian bar. Now so on my I did the video. Like I think the only Ghanaian song they played Sakodi, and they played there's this fine girl, I can't remember, that did a remix with, I'm always forgetting her name. She's short, she's busty. Why can't I remember her name right now? The only she had played two Ghanaian
Yeah.
for like 3 hours in Ghana. I was listening to Nigerian Afrobeats, right? So just the way we've exported, Afrobeat there. So I feel like, we've imported this culture and
Yeah. And lastly, you're a reader, you're a writer.
yeah.
I think you've written your own books, haven't you?
Yeah, ebooks, yes. Mhm.
And how was the how was it received?
Very interesting question. I mean, I still got a lot from Kobokos and Seller like last week. I'm like, people are still buying these books because I do not even talk about them anymore. So I've written two ebooks, paid, Chronicles of an Intern. I wrote that in 2019 and Luster. I wrote Luster in 2021. So Chronicles of an Intern, I wrote it as an intern, interestingly. I was there at General Electric. I wrote Chronicles of an Intern because I was an intern figuring out life. And I was wondering about how many interns were out there, figuring out life. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, so like I usually wrote about it. There was a chapter that was contributing. There was like, so I asked all my friends that interned with all these big companies to like write a chapter. Yeah, so I think it's an exciting book. It's 1,000 on sale or Koboko, so you can buy it. But I think I love Luster more. So Luster is about personal branding, and I was telling my friend recently that if I were to rewrite Luster, it would have a lot more content. But given what I wrote in 2021, we're going. I'm very brilliant. Yes, I literally wrote about personal branding, about how to build an exciting social capital. I talked about networking, connecting with people, sustaining your friendships. It's really fascinating. Like I think I sold like 100 copies in like first 3 months. Yeah. I made good money from that. I probably should talk about it more because I just feel like I passed that level. But yeah, and that's the thing about like having digital works because they are still up there. Every time I
And they'll
speak at
always be there.
events or podcast, I like I just told you, Konica is 1,000 naira. Seller is Luster is 2,000 naira. So people will just go up now and just download Luster. Just see a lot. 2,000 naira. Okay, thank you. Right. I don't know what book I would write next. Maybe I will finally write an hard copy book. I don't know. But yeah.
But that'll be nice. That'll be nice. I still don't read books. I've tried. I've tried. I don't know why.
Why do you learn?
Visuals, definitely,
Yeah. So,
definitely.
so I feel like there are two
Even
kind of
even
people.
in school, I would prefer to attend every class
And just remember what
and
was
listen to
taught.
what the lecturer is saying than to actually take a note and go back and read it.
Hmm. Yeah. So I feel like people that don't read. So for example, to put in context, so I started watching movie back actively in 2021. So I watched movie in uni, but between 2018 and 2021, I feel like I invested in my career a lot. So I didn't have time for movies. So I read a lot of books. I read a lot of books between that period. But 2021, I started watching movies back. I've read less books. This is why I feel like I love reading. I've read
Yeah.
less books because I now watch movies. Yeah, so I feel like if when people tell me, oh, they don't read, the next question I ask is, what
How's it
then is your
going?
vision? So if you don't tell me, I'm now like, you have a problem. But if you tell me, oh, I learn via YouTube, oh, I learn via, I'm like, okay, yeah, so that means that's your preferred means of learning. Me, I wanted to like prepare for an exam recently. I don't know if I want to take the exam or not, but all my friends are sending me soft copy. I'm like, I have to buy a copy of this thing. So I like to like carry book and
Yeah.
read like this. Yeah. So
Throughout my 4 years in university, I never had a hard copy textbook or anything. Everything was ebook.
just swipe.
Was just yeah, exactly.
So
Just swipe
we're
through.
opposites.
Just swipe through. I was going to say something. I can't remember it now. I can't remember it now. So we'll just move on.
Okay.
Um, are there any other sides of Emmanuel Faith that we? Okay, you're a TEDx speaker. You're a
Yes.
speaker. I think you speak at a lot of events. Now, do you speak at a lot of events because you love speaking, or because you're invited to it and you're like, let me not be rude. Let me not.
So just so let me say this on camera now. I for every one event between 2021, 22 and now. I mean, this year has even been more difficult. The ratio has reduced. For every one event that I speak at, the attend I said no to.
Okay.
Yeah, so I get that much invitations. Now, I mean, coming to this year, me and my PA, we actually had to design. Like, we had to sit down and design like criteria for certain events. One, are they paying? If they are not paying, how impactful is it? Does it align with the things I'm interested in? So, for example, if you're a female organization, I would like to say yes to you. Like I script and book, I would like to say yes. So, women in this, women in that, tech in this, tech in that, I would like to say yes to you because like it's women. Um, if it has to do with I'm very my friends are tired of me. I'm very passionate about like the student community because a lot of things I developed a lot of capacity because I attended those events as like a student.
Yeah.
So except it's a strain on my schedule, I will most likely say yes to like a student invitation. Yeah. So I consider those two things. I genuinely just like sharing knowledge. I also think that if you've invited me, I mean, it means that like you think that I have knowledge I can share. But trust me, for every event that you see me speak at, they are annoying that I did not speak at. That I said no to because my schedule did not permit. Yes,
Oh,
I
that's
get
rather
that
interesting.
problems.
I'll be
Yes,
someone
so
more.
like TEDx is very interesting because I just always so I joined this is how TEDx started. So I joined when I was at General Electric. I was a member of this public speaking group called Toastmasters,
Okay.
which was fascinating. I feel like if you are looking to improve your public speaking skills, you should join Toastmasters. There are a lot of clubs in Lagos. And I think that post COVID, a lot of clubs are now going virtual. So they're actually virtual Toastmasters that you can join. So while I was watching Toastmasters, I realized that one of the ways to also improve your public speaking skills was to speak at a TEDx event. And that's literally how I started applying to TEDx. I mean, I've not even applied to any TEDx this year. Yeah, I've not applied to TEDx this year. So I feel like everybody can be a TEDx speaker, and I feel like everybody should be a TEDx speaker. TEDx helps you share your knowledge in the most concise way possible, in the most relatable way, at the shortest possible time. One of my favorite things to do is to watch TEDx shots.
Yeah.
This
So
is like
at
five
different
minutes.
points in my life, I can remember there was a time every time I went on YouTube or watch a TEDx.
Yeah, and I know YouTube algorithm works. Yeah,
You
I even
know,
have favorites. It's not I had favorites. For example,
at the
if you
time it was Shark Tank and Lions Den and
yeah,
stuff like that.
yeah. So I think everybody should watch Zenasha's TEDx. It's one of my favorites. And Tai Selassie's TEDx. Yeah, and watch my TEDx too. I think my most favorite TEDx is the one I gave at OAU.
Yeah.
Yeah, where you live and how where you live affects how you live. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was where you talked about how you grew up and
Yes. Definitely.
all right, so we're going to the second part of the podcast, which is the
Okay.
side questions. So top five female footballers of all time.
My own ranking. Of course,
Yeah,
Mata.
definitely your ranking.
Yeah, so Mata has to be number one, obviously. Nobody's taking away from that. I think, okay, I'm just going to put both of them. So number two will be either of Alex Morgan or Megan Rapinoe. I feel like USA would not have achieved that 10 years dominance without both of them. Like, they
Yeah.
were really fascinating. Number three is Ada Egebeg. Egebeg is a quality striker. She is still a quality striker. But like Egebeg of 2019, fam. 2018, 2019, that was prime Ada Egebeg. I mean, like she had ACL for 1 year and she came back and she just continued. Yeah. Number four would be I have to put Care. Yeah, so number four will be Care. I think that what Sam Care has done for football is fascinating. She left NWSL 3 years ago, and she's still the highest goal scorer. Like someone left the league 3 years ago, and so today nobody has met her. No, that's amazingly massive. And yeah, and I have to put Agbabola there. Yes, that's
That
sure.
is all sure.
Yeah. So not necessarily because she's the fifth best player in the world, but like you are talking about influence on the field, off the field. You have to put um Asisa to show that she has done an amazing stuff, Africa and beyond.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
said we're going to come back to this. So top five K drama.
Okay, yeah. So top five K drama, City Hunter has to take the first spot. Yeah, I just think that everything about City Hunter is fascinating. Now that you're talking about it, I think I'm going to watch it. The City Hunter to me is what Popeye Hibiscus is to me. Like all time, my all-time literature ever is Popeye Hibiscus. Yeah, I there's a time I read them every year, so I watch City Hunter every year, and I read Popeye Hibiscus every year. I should do it this year. Yeah. So City Hunter, Iris, yeah, Iris. Iron King. Iron King is a very old movie. I do not. It doesn't get the PR that it deserves. But Iron King is a very, 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 very amazing movie. I have two more slots. That's hard though. Okay. I think I'm going to give one of the slots to Vincenzo. Yeah. Vincenzo was a thriller. Vincenzo, that slot. No, don't let me give it to Vincenzo. I don't want to waste that slot. So number four is going to be Itaewon Class.
Okay.
So again, remember that like I love culture and like I love diversity and equality. So that's why I love Itaewon Class. If you watch Itaewon Class, you will feel like visiting Itaewon because Itaewon is actually like a place in Korea. Itaewon Class, the crew was made up of like people from the slum. It's actually like slum to big.
Grace.
If you know about everything, it's not really great because the guy worked at like a mad person. Like it just shows how much sheer effort and diligence can transform your life. Like how just you having the right team and having the right level of grit can take you to your desired goals. Like
Yeah.
you went from prison, to yeah. So I think that the one class will be up there. My fifth will be fifth drama of all time. That's a drama that I can always go back and rewatch. I'm thinking of all the dramas I've watched more than 2 times. I think that okay, no. So the slot that I took away from Vincenzo, I think I would give Vagabond.
Okay.
Yeah, so Vagabond was intense. I love Vagabond because it touched like issues in the Nigeria. So I wanted to give that slot to K2, but I feel like Vagabond was a lot of Korean fans have issues with K2 because of the love parts. So, but I feel like Vagabond was a more
Yeah.
realistic, more intense. It was international espionage. Yeah, so it lets you know a lot of things are going on in international space that we don't know. Yeah, so let me see my thought. Let me say it out and see if it's what it's. So number one was City Hunter. Number two was Iris. Number three was Iron King. That's not that I gave Iron King. I feel like I'll take it away. God. I'm gonna replace Iron King with a man called God. Yeah. Yeah. So number one
A
is
man called God.
yeah.
Is that Chinese? Sorry, is that
It's
a Korean
Korean.
drama?
Yeah, it's Korean.
Wow.
Yeah, so City Hunter Iris, a man called God. What was my number four? Itaewon Class. Number five is what's my number five?
I think Vagabond.
Yeah, Vagabond.
Okay. Uh, roughly how many books have you read in your lifetime?
Oh my, that one hard though. So between 2018 and 2020, I read 303 books. So I read 100 books every year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Um, since then, I try to read a book per week. So for example, this year I've read about like 40 plus books. I think I hit like 44. 44 at the end of, I didn't read a lot in October. It was a very dark month. But I ate like 54 at the end of September, and like I'm reading my second book.
Oh, wow.
So my brother likes to say that he thinks that there was probably a time in our life where we read more than 100 books. Well, not counting. Because like 2011, 2011, I finished school 2012. We read a lot between 2012 and 2014 too. Me and my brother. Like we're always reading hard copy, soft copy. I've read, there's a time that as at that year, I'd read all the books that John Grisham ever published. All of them.
Wow.
All. Like you mentioned, just mentioned
That's a
characters.
lot of reading.
Yeah, so yes, I read all the books of D. Anderson, Karen Kingsbury, Francine Rivers. Like I still saw a picture. Someone tweeted that which of them have you read? I'm like, oh, do you mean which of them have I read twice or thrice? Because I can tell you about it. I read all the characters, Karen Kingsbury, all the series. Karen Kingsbury writes in series.
Yeah.
So you have the Kiduko, you have the like she writes in different series. I read all the series, all of them.
Finally,
Yeah.
if you
So
could get married to one female footballer, who would it be?
this is a name that people would not like, but people do not know. If I could get married to a female footballer, I think that it will be most likely either Aitana Bomati or Alicia Lehman. So Alicia Lehman is. I'm surprised that I mentioned Aitana Bomati. Okay, yeah. So someone that I would have mentioned is Jordan Witima, but I do not think. So let's do three. I will tell you why. So Alicia Lemon is pure class. I feel like people say that she should not be playing football, she should be a model. She's the most commercialized like female footballer at the moment. I feel like married. If you say dates, yes, so either of those three. But I feel like I think I'm married, like we have the same like temperament character.
Yeah.
She's very focused, very disciplined, very tactical. Like I feel like if Alexia is not Barcelona's captain, Aitana would be the next captain. And same for Spain. So she has this level of calmness and vigor and stuff. Jordan with Tima because she's had a lot of experience and like she's too young to have that kind. Like she's 22. She's played in like two different leagues. Balling two different. She's played in France and had an amazing career. She's now back to NWSL. She's balling. People are calling her Kristen Sinclair's regen because like she would likely take over, from Kristen Sinclair as like Canada top scorer. So yeah, I'd have the three.
Okay. And so to wrap up, right, we're going to play a game.
Yeah.
We're going to play two games for you, and they're still around female football. So the first one is we're going to see how many female football players, female Chelsea women football players you can mention.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, like currently.
Yeah, currently.
Just like this year's question to ask me. Do you want me to measure them by their number? Number one, Musovic. Number two, Mia Fisher. Which are in number three? I think Anek Nguyen. Is it Anek Nguyen or name Charles? Yes, I should mention Anek Nguyen, name Charles. So look, let me do keeper, defenders, attackers. So keeper, Musovic. Zesira Musovic, my favorite. And Katrin Berger, Anna Amtin, and Everett, who is on loan. Defenders, Niam Charles, Millie Bright, Jess Carter, Anik Nguyen, Marin Miede, and Kadisha Buchanan.
Yeah.
Midfielders, Erin Cuthbert, Sophie Ingo, Zjokenusken. There are four. Sophie Ingo and Erin Cuthbert, Zjokenusken. Who is the fourth person? I can't remember. Jesse Fleming. No, actually, I should remember. There are four. Melanie Lupos, yes. Then attackers, Jesse Fleming, Mia Fisher, Sam Kerr, JLK, John Adrena Keating, who plays on this wing? Jelena Kankovic, and I give Eva Jones.
Surprisingly, you didn't mention Lauren James.
And good rating. Yeah, so yeah.
So lastly, you're going to build your dream female football team.
Yeah.
From any era.
From any era.
From any era. So what formation would you use?
4-3-3. I think that's okay. 4-2-3-1.
Okay, 4-2-3-1.
Yeah, so 4-2-3-1.
Who will be the goalkeeper?
From any era, my goalkeeper will be, interestingly, Chiamaka Nadozie.
Okay.
Yeah. So my center backs will be center back. I'm looking at England, America, Germany, Spain. Yeah, so I'll pick Mini Bright, and Wendy Reina.
Okay. And your fullbacks?
My full backs will be. Will Kashawi play fullback for me? No. What's the name of the other babe? Was like Kashawi. She's French. Why can't I remember her name right now? Selman Baka.
Okay.
Yeah, so Selman Baka on one side. Um, this is really hard. I'll put. I didn't want to use an Nigerian player. I will put Michel Aluzi.
Okay.
Yeah, on another side. I might still remove her, but let me put her there. So my double four will be Lena Obadov and what's the name of this babe that plays for US? Yeah, I cannot remember. Okay, so let me look at Spain. Yeah. So my double four will be Lena Obadov and Georgia Stanway.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
So my three attackers, definitely, I do not know the arrangements, but I would have Megan Rapinoe. I would have. I need a very decent dribbler. So I will have Megan Rapinoe. I will have Khadija Diani. I need a 10 that can move ball comfortably and also give me shots. Lauren James.
okay.
So my 9 is a very, very difficult ad to pick because I have to pick between Kerr and Alex Morgan. So, Kerr, I love you so much. But I'm going to pick Alex Morgan.
Okay.
Yeah. So if there was bench, then maybe I'll put some guys on the bench. So yeah, that's it. I think that's my decent team.
That's a world-class team, really.
It is. I was concerned between putting Mata and James in 10. Yeah, but I feel like I'll pick. I'm moving James. I'll put Mata. Yeah, so Mata. So I'll have Mata, Diani, Rapino, Morgan.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Faith, for coming on the podcast. It's been a lovely one.
Yeah. Thank you for not making me talk about HR too much. I was really excited talking about that part of it that is not HR related.
Yeah, that's when I saw. I mean, originally that was the plan. Oh, HR, but then I saw that post and I said, oh, people have heard enough about you
me
being
and HR, right? Yeah, I think that I would passionately share this because I'm like, my casual public. If you want to know me beyond HR, I think that you should watch this or listen to this one. So,
well, thank you very much, guys. If you watched all the episodes up until this one, love you. Personally, I love you, and see you in season 2. If there will be one, there should be one. Hopefully,
we are looking for sponsors. Give us money. Send us money. Come and sponsor us. We have views. We have reach. We shall, announce your product to the world.
And that has been Walking Like a Talkie season 1. Thank you, guys.
Signing out. Hi everyone, this is Emmanuel. I'm on Walking Like I Talk It podcast. Please like, share, and subscribe. This season is really exciting. There are a lot of lessons, you should watch it and you should also share with people. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so Emmanuel mentioned that he writes a lot for King's Milo, so this is King's Milo. I think you guys should order it as well.
All the way from London, Stamford Bridge.
Yes. Special delivery from the King sends his regards.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so this is one of the magazines I write for, guys. You can find them on Twitter and you can order hard copy or soft copy, whichever works for you. But yeah, hard copy is more handy. So yeah, Evidence Day, we know just the explain. Evidence Day, you sabi.